I was watching a movie the other night, one of those classic high-octane action flicks, and it really hit me.
Oh, yeah.
We are absolutely obsessed with the struggle. I mean, you know the scene I'm talking about.
I think I do.
The hero is beaten down, they're exhausted, they're sweating, the music is swelling.
And they pull out a victory at the absolute last second.
Exactly. The buzzer beater, the wire cut with 1 second left on the bomb
It's a
timer,
training
the
montage.
montage. Yes. We are culturally conditioned to believe that winning has to be hard. That if you aren't, bleeding metaphorically or literally, you didn't really earn it.
We call it hustle in business, heart in sports.
Right. But looking at the stack of research and philosophy we have on the table today, I'm starting to think that this whole romanticized struggle, it's actually a sign of failure.
It's a very provocative thought, isn't it? That the struggle isn't the glory.
That the struggle is the mistake.
Exactly.
And that is what we are dismantling today. We're exploring a concept that it sounds military, but it's actually deeply personal.
It's called positioning.
And the core argument we're looking at is that true skill isn't winning that hard-fought battle that everyone applauds.
No. True skill is winning so easily that it looks boring.
It's about winning before the conflict even starts.
Right. We're looking at this idea of invincibility. And not, in a comic book sense,
Not at all.
but in a structural sense. How do you organize your life so that defeat becomes, well, mathematically impossible?
If that sounds like a tall order, or maybe a little too good to be true, just stick with us, because the sources we've pulled for this are heavy hitters.
They really are.
We are analyzing Sun Tzu's The Art of War, specifically Chapter 4, Tactical Dispositions.
But we're blending that ancient strategy with James Clear's modern work on environment design.
And we're grounding it all with some Stoic philosophy from Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus.
It's a fascinating combination because you realize that Sun Tzu and James Clear are basically saying the same thing.
Just 2,000 years apart.
It's a lesson on stability.
Now, before we jump into the material, I have to say this. If this episode helps you, please hit like and subscribe for the next one.
Yeah, we're building this out as a full series, and we really don't want you to miss what's coming next.
So let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Let's start with the big idea. Section 1, the core concept. Invincibility lies in oneself.
This comes directly from the opening of Chapter 4 of The Art of War. And it's one of those sentences that, you can read it 10 times and still miss the depth.
What's the line?
Sun Tzu writes, "The good fighters of old first put themselves beyond the possibility of defeat and then waited for an opportunity of defeating the enemy."
Put themselves beyond the possibility of defeat. I want to push on that right away, because in the real world, in the market, in a career, in a marriage, is that actually possible?
To be beyond defeat.
Yeah, it feels like a fantasy.
Well, I think we have to define defeat here. Sun Tzu isn't saying you can prevent bad things from happening.
Okay.
He's saying you can prevent ruin, and that is a radical shift in focus. Most of us, when we want to win, we focus on the external. We focus on the enemy.
The competitor, the difficult boss, the fluctuating economy, all the things we can't control.
Exactly. We stare at the obstacle. But Sun Tzu says, stop. You can't control the enemy.
You can't force a competitor to go bankrupt.
Or force a boss to be nice, or force the stock market to go up.
And trying to control those things that's usually where all the anxiety comes from.
Precisely. Sun Tzu makes this crucial distinction. He says, to secure ourselves against defeat lies in our own hands.
I see, so that part's on me.
But the opportunity of defeating the enemy is provided by the enemy himself.
All right, let's break that down. So, invincibility is an inside job.
And victory is an outside job.
That's the bumper sticker.
That really is. Invincibility is internal. Vulnerability is external. So if you're defeated, it's because you had a flaw in your position.
And if you win,
It's because the enemy had a flaw in theirs.
that puts a massive amount of responsibility on the individual. It means if I lose, I can't blame the environment. I can't blame bad luck.
You have to look at your own positioning.
And that's the modern translation of this ancient wisdom, isn't it?
It is. Stop trying to control the outcome. Stop trying to force the win.
Focus entirely on what you can control.
Your preparation, your skills, your environment. If you're just waiting for a lucky break, you're not positioned, you're gambling.
This brings us to the definition of the word itself, positioning. When I hear that, coming from a business background, I think of marketing.
Right. Brand positioning.
Yeah.
Pepsi versus Coke.
Exactly. But Sun Tzu calls it tactical dispositions. So what does that actually mean in plain English?
In this context, positioning is structural. It means creating stable advantages. It means arranging your life so that you're standing on solid ground.
Well, the problem you're facing is on quicksand.
That's a great way to put it.
Can you give me a visual?
Hmm.
Because stable advantages is still a bit abstract.
Sure. Think of a castle on a hill versus a tent in a swamp.
Okay.
Both of them are shelters. Both of them contain people. But the castle has positioning.
It has the high ground.
It has reduced exposure to risk. It has walls. It has supplies. The tent in the swamp is exposed. It's relying on luck to survive the next storm.
So the tent has to struggle to survive the storm.
And the castle just sits there.
The castle doesn't have to try to be a castle.
It just is. And that's positioning. It means reducing your exposure to risk, having disciplined boundaries, and consistent preparation so that when the storm comes...
You don't have to panic.
Right.
You know, it sounds boring. And I mean that as a compliment, but also as a challenge.
How so?
We're addicted to excitement. The castle sounds boring. The tent is where the drama is.
It is boring. And that's why it works. Excitement usually means you're in danger. If your life is constantly exciting in a way that spikes your cortisol, you probably have poor positioning.
This leads to the most interesting comparison in the research you sent over. The difference between strain and structure.
This is the key. If listeners take one thing away from today, it should be this distinction.
Okay, explain it.
Winning by strain is what most of us do. It's reactive. It involves relying on willpower, adrenaline.
And hustling to fix mistakes we made because we weren't prepared.
That's it. That's the all-nighter before the presentation. It's the I'll just power through it mentality.
And like, sometimes you win that way.
You do. You stay up all night, you drink 4 coffees, you deliver the presentation, and it goes well. You feel like a hero.
But it's exhausting, and you can't do it every day.
It's unsustainable. Eventually you will break. That's winning by strain.
So what's the alternative?
Winning by structure. This is repeatable. It involves setting up the conditions so that success is the natural outcome.
The easy outcome.
And Sun Tzu has this beautiful poetic metaphor for it. He says, "To lift an autumn hair does not signify great strength."
An autumn hair. That's very specific. Why autumn?
Well, in the autumn, an animal's fur grows in, but the very tips are incredibly fine and light. The autumn hair is the lightest, most delicate thing imaginable.
So he's saying if you pick up a feather, nobody claps.
Right. Nobody says, wow, look at the strength of that person. But Sun Tzu says that's what a true victory should look like.
If you have to grunt and strain and struggle to lift the weight,
You didn't position yourself correctly. You made it hard for yourself.
that's a heavy hit to the ego.
Mm,
Because we want the grunt. We want the struggle because we want the credit.
of course.
If I solve a crisis at work, I get a bonus.
Yeah.
If I prevent the crisis from ever happening,
Nobody even notices.
and that is the trap. That is where we have to be so careful. The best victories go unnoticed because they happen without drama.
If you're positioning yourself correctly, the crisis never happens. You don't get to be the hero who saves the day.
Because the day never needed saving.
Exactly.
I want to dig into that ego aspect more.
Yeah.
Because this feels like the biggest barrier. It's not that we can't position ourselves. It's that we secretly don't want to.
We want to be the knight slaying the dragon.
Not the architect who built the wall so the dragon couldn't get in.
That's exactly it. We're addicted to the narrative of the savior. But look at the cost.
What's the cost?
The savior only exists in a tragedy. You have to have a disaster to have a savior. Positioning is about eliminating the tragedy.
Which segues perfectly into section 2. Guardrails and ethics.
Yes.
Because when we talk about making yourself unbeatable and positioning, it can start to sound a little Machiavellian, a little cold.
It can. It can sound like you're trying to trap people or manipulate the situation to your advantage at everyone else's expense.
Right. I'm going to build my castle and let everyone else drown in the swamp. So we need to clarify this. This is not about manipulation.
No, the sources are very clear on this. Positioning is not about trapping others unethically. It's about taking radical responsibility for your own stability.
It's about being a rock, not a trap.
Yes, it's self-defense,
Yes.
effectively. It's ensuring that you are capable of weathering the storm.
And the biggest guardrail here, the one that both Sun Tzu and the Stoics hammer on, is no ego.
Absolutely.
Tell me about the no reputation for wisdom quote. I found that really striking.
Sun Tzu warns that the best general has no reputation for wisdom and no credit for courage.
Wow.
Think about that for a second. In our culture, we worship the turnaround CEO, the person who comes in when the company is on fire and puts it out.
The brave leader, the hero.
But Sun Tzu says if you were actually a good general, the fire never would have started, so you have no credit for courage.
Because you never put yourself in a situation where you needed to be brave?
Precisely. If you manage your finances perfectly, you never have the courageous story of surviving bankruptcy.
If you manage your health perfectly, you never have the inspiring comeback story.
Yes.
I are healthy.
It's the boredom of excellence.
That is a great phrase for it. The boredom of excellence.
Mm-hmm.
And to accept that, you have to kill your ego. You have to be content with the result, not the recognition.
So if you're positioning correctly, you won't get the glory of a last-minute save.
Because you won't need saving.
That is a hard sell for people. I mean, we live in an economy of attention. If you're invisible, you're forgotten. But are you? Or are you just reliable? There's a difference between being famous and being effective.
And positioning is about effectiveness.
It's about being the person who, year after year, just delivers. No drama, no panic, just results. That's its own form of invincibility.
Okay, so we have the concept. We know it's about structure over strain. We know it's about internal invincibility. But I want to get out of the clouds here.
Let's make it concrete.
What does this actually look like on a Tuesday morning when the coffee hasn't kicked in yet?
Right. Section 3. 3 practical examples. Let's look at work, relationships, and habits.
Let's start with work. This is where most people feel the strain.
For sure.
Okay, so the problem in work, and I think we all feel this, is relying on memory and high energy to avoid mistakes.
Trying to keep all the balls in the air.
Right. And hoping you don't drop one. And when you do, you beat yourself up and say, I just need to focus harder.
That is winning by strain. You're using your brain as a storage device instead of a processing device. You're relying on your biological state, your energy, your caffeine level to keep you safe.
So what's the positioning fix?
The fix is creating a simple workflow. And the source material gives us this incredible example from the Japanese railway system.
Oh, the pointing and calling? I love this.
Shisakonko, it's amazing.
Describe what they do, because if you haven't seen it, it looks very strange.
So a train conductor in Japan, they don't just look at a signal. They physically point at it with their hand.
Out loud.
And they call out the status. They say, signal is green, speed is 40.
It looks a little theatrical, like they're performing for an invisible audience.
It does. It looks almost silly to an outsider. But this is a position of safety. By pointing and speaking, they're engaging multiple senses sight, muscle memory, hearing, speech.
It forces the brain to be present.
Exactly. And the data on this is wild.
What is it?
It reduces errors by 85%.
85%, just from that one action.
Just by adding that structure.
That is literally putting yourself beyond the possibility of defeat.
In this case, the defeat is an error, a train crash. Relying on trying hard to pay attention fails because human attention is fragile.
But the structure of pointing and calling succeeds.
Because it bypasses the need for perfect attention.
Okay, now, I can hear the listeners saying, I work in an open plan office.
Yeah.
If I start pointing at my spreadsheet and shouting, data is accurate, I'm going to get fired.
Fair point. You don't have to shout.
So what's the office version of Shisakanko?
It's checklists. And I know checklist is a boring word.
Very boring.
But think of it as outsourced brain. If you have a checklist for a recurring task, say sending a monthly report, you are no longer relying on your memory to ensure the attachment is there.
There's a step that says check attachment. You kick it.
And you have positioned yourself so that forgetting is impossible. You've outsourced the invincibility to the paper.
You're building a system that catches you when you fall. That is structure.
And it's also about reducing rework. Think about how much time we spend fixing things that were done wrong the first time.
Oh, massive amounts. The fixing is usually way harder than the doing.
Exactly. Positioning means doing it slower, using the checklists that you never have to do the rework.
Yeah.
That's real efficiency.
Okay, let's move to example 2. Relationships. This is a big one.
A huge one.
The problem here is escalation, getting provoked into an argument.
We have all been there. Someone says something snarky or sends a rude email, or your spouse makes that one comment that just pushes your buttons.
And the adrenaline spikes. You want to win. You want to crush them with a comeback.
That is the siege mentality Sun Tzu warns against.
You're attacking a walled city.
And it's going to take 3 months, you're going to lose a third of your men, and you gain nothing. When you engage in a shouting match, you have left your castle and entered the swamp.
So what is the positioning fix?
The gentle answer, this comes from Proverbs, a gentle answer turns away wrath, but we also see it in the Tao Te Ching.
Waiting for the mud to settle.
Right. The idea is calm timing. When you're angry, your mind is muddy. If you act then, you're vulnerable. You're vincible.
So positioning in a relationship means setting a boundary.
A boundary that says, I will not discuss this while we are yelling or while we are angry. The point is, you refuse to enter the siege.
So if someone attacks you with anger,
And you respond with calmness, you've positioned yourself in a place they cannot reach. You make yourself unbeatable because you refuse to play their game.
exactly. If they want to fight and you give them a discussion, they can't fight. You've changed the terrain.
It reminds me of that line, if you can be provoked, you can be controlled.
That's Epictetus, pure stoicism. If someone else decides when you get angry, they are the master of your mind.
Positioning is taking that power back. It's saying, I will engage with this problem, but I will do it on my timeline, when I'm calm, and when I have my resources.
This is really tough to do in the moment, though. It feels like surrender.
It feels like surrender because our ego wants the last word. But look at the results. If you scream back, you both lose. If you wait, you have a chance to actually solve the problem.
It's the difference between feeling strong and being strong.
Precisely.
Okay, example 3, habits. This is where we bring in the modern behavioral science.
Yes, James Clear, Atomic Habits, the Bible of environment design.
The problem here is relying on willpower to resist temptation.
That inner monologue, I see the cookie, I want the cookie, but I will be strong and not eat the cookie.
It's a battle.
And here's the thing about battles. Eventually, you lose one. If you fight that battle 10 times a day, eventually you'll be tired, stressed, or hungry, and you will eat the cookie.
Willpower fatigue, it's like a muscle.
It gets tired. So what's the positioning fix?
Environment design.
And that's the quote. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems.
It's one of the most important sentences in modern psychology. If you want to win, stop trying to be stronger. Change the room.
So give us the owning the terrain application.
If you want to run in the morning, putting your shoes right in front of the door is positioning. You're reducing the friction.
You're making the good choice the path of least resistance. And for the bad habits.
You increase the friction. If you want to stop eating junk food, do not buy it. It sounds simple.
But people think, no, I'll buy it, but I just won't eat it.
And that's winning by strain. You're setting yourself up for a fight inside your own kitchen.
So positioning is deciding the outcome in the grocery store.
So you don't have to fight the battle in the kitchen.
Perfectly said. You are winning the war before the enemy, the late-night hunger even shows up. That's owning the terrain.
It makes success feel so much less heavy. It's not about being a superhero.
It's about being a good architect. You're
Mhm.
building a life where the right action is the easiest action. If you have to be a superhero to get through your day is designed poorly.
Okay, so we have the theory, we have the examples, but listening to this is passive. I want to get listeners involved.
Let's do a guided exercise.
Yes. Section 4, the positioning checklist. I want you to do this mentally right now, wherever you are. Unless you're driving, maybe don't close your eyes.
Let's walk through it.
We're going to build a position for one specific problem in your life.
Okay, step 1. Name the objective clearly. What are you trying to achieve? Is it finishing a project? Is it getting fit? Is it staying calm with your kids? Pick one thing.
Got it. I'm picking writing my book. That's my objective.
Okay. Step 2. Identify your biggest exposure or weak point. Where are you vulnerable? Is it your phone? Is it fatigue? Is it hunger?
For me, it is the internet. Research turns into scrolling. I go to look up one fact and end up on Wikipedia for an hour.
So your enemy is the browser. Step 3. Remove one temptation or distraction. Change the environment.
So I could use an app blocker.
Wow.
Or literally unplug the router.
Right. That's a structural change. You're removing the enemy's weapon. You aren't trying to not scroll. You can't scroll.
Okay, what's next?
Step 4. Add one protective boundary. A rule you will not break.
My rule. No browser open until 500 words are written.
Excellent. That's a wall you've built. Step 5. Choose one small preparation step. Something that makes starting easier.
Oh, opening the document the night before. So when I sit down, it's already there. No blank screen panic.
Perfect. That is the shoes by the door. Step 6. Choose one phrase that keeps you calm and disciplined. An internal mantra.
Slow is smooth, smooth is fast.
Classic. And finally, step 7. Choose one proof action you will do today.
Not tomorrow, today.
Today.
I will outline the first chapter.
There you go. You've just moved from hoping to write a book to positioning yourself to write a book.
You've reduced exposure, added boundaries, and prepared the terrain.
Yeah.
And it feels different. It feels less like I hope I have the energy and more like I have a plan.
That's the shift from strain to structure. You've taken the variable of how I feel out of the equation.
Now, even with a plan, things go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I've tried this before. I've set up the system, I've bought the planner, and I still fall off the wagon.
We all have.
So let's talk about Section 5, Common Mistakes and Fixes.
There are 5 common traps people fall into when trying to position themselves.
Mistake 1, relying on willpower. We've touched on this, but drive it home. Why do we keep doing this?
Because our ego loves it. We like to think we're strong. The mistake is thinking, next time I'll just try harder. That never works long term.
So what's the fix?
The fix is to admit you're weak. That sounds harsh, but it's liberating. Admit that you will get tired. Switch to environment design. Willpower fatigues, design is permanent.
If you're relying on willpower, you're not positioned.
You're just fighting.
Okay, mistake 2, seeking credit.
This is the ego trap again. The mistake is wanting people to see how hard you're working. The fix is to accept that easy winning rarely gets applause.
You have to decide. Do you want to be successful or do you want to look successful?
Exactly. Positioning is usually invisible. You have to be okay with being the person who leaves work at 5 in the evening because you were efficient, even if the person staying until 8 looks more dedicated.
That's a real culture killer in some companies, that whole FaceTime culture.
It is. But the results eventually speak.
Mistake 3, reacting to provocation.
This is the relationship trap. The mistake is letting someone else set the timeline of the conflict. The fix is to remember the bully dynamic.
If they can provoke you, they own you.
Retain your power by refusing to react on their timeline. Wait for your moment.
Mistake 4, waiting for certainty.
This is a subtle one. Sun Tzu says you can secure yourself against defeat, but you cannot make certain of defeating the enemy.
So the mistake is waiting until you're 100% sure you'll win before you move.
You freeze. The fix is to realize you can't guarantee the win. You can only guarantee your safety. Focus on your invincibility, not the outcome.
Build a castle. Don't worry about whether the enemy attacks or not.
Right. And mistake 5, ignoring the mud.
This is the timing mistake. Acting when you're confused, angry, or emotional.
The fix is simple. Wait for the water to clear. Acting when things are muddy leads to disaster. Clarity is a prerequisite for victory.
If you don't know what to do, do nothing.
Secure your position and wait.
These are so practical. I love how they apply to almost anything. It's a framework for decision-making.
That's the beauty of principles. They scale. They work for a general and they work for a parent.
So we have covered a lot. We've gone from ancient China to the Japanese railway to your kitchen pantry. Let's bring it all together.
Let's do a recap.
Section 6. So point 1 for me. Invincibility is an internal job. Victory is an external opportunity. You control you.
And point 2. Winning by structure is superior to winning by strain. Don't lift the heavy weight. Make the weight light.
Point 3. True skill looks easy. It lifts the autumn hair without struggle. If you're struggling, check your position.
Point 4. Design your environment to make good choices the path of least resistance.
Point 5. Use boundaries and calm speech to avoid unnecessary conflict.
And point 6. Do not seek applause. Seek stability and effectiveness.
Finally, point 7. Prepare first, then wait for the opening.
If you do those things, you aren't just trying to win, you are making yourself unbeatable.
It changes the whole game. It takes the anxiety out of it. It's no longer about, am I good enough?
Is my system good enough?
It is. Because you know that even if the world goes crazy, your position is secure. You have the castle.
Right.
Now, here's a question. We've talked about getting safe. We've talked about locking the doors and building the castle. But eventually, you have to move.
Right. You can't just sit in the castle forever.
You can't write the book by just organizing the desk.
Exactly. Positioning is the foundation, but it isn't the whole building. Once you're safe, once you're positioned, you've stored up a massive amount of potential energy.
And that leads us to the next step.
Next time, we're going to talk about how to release that energy. We're going to discuss momentum, timing, and energy.
How to take that stone we've pushed to the top of the hill.
The position we've secured.
And let it roll.
It's going to be good. We're going to talk about speed, timing, and how to move like water.
But you can't move like water if you're stuck in the mud. So do your positioning work first.
I can't wait.
Thanks for being here. If you want the full series, check the playlist. And please like and subscribe so you don't miss the next episode.